Professor Brahma Chellaney, one of India's best-known strategic voices, into this conversation. Professor Brahma Chellaney, you saw the briefing of the Ministry of Defence and External Affairs in the morning, also in the evening. When you look at this entire list of Pakistan's Air Force bases and air assets that were decimated, from Skardu in Pakistan-occupied Jammu Kashmir to Sargodha to Jacobabad to Noor Khan Air Base to Murid Air Base to Rafiqul Air Base to Rahim Yar Khan Air Base. What do you make of Pakistan Air Force and its assets and the manner in which they were decimated? Was Pakistan compelled to seek this ceasefire?
Clearly, the military momentum was in India's favor. Pakistani air defenses proved to be much weaker than Pakistan had expected. You could see that from the rival duels. The Pakistanis were sending so many drones and missiles into India, but not able to carry out effective hits. India, in return, was sending limited number of drones and missiles, but was able to hit its targets well and leave balls of fire. Given the fact that India had the upper hand militarily, why this climb down by India?
That's the question I was just about to come to. Are we in a way not learning any lesson from history? 1948, we were told we were just about to get back. Pakistan occupied Jammu and Kashmir and we went to the United Nations. In 1965, we agreed to Tashkent. In 1971, we did not sort out Jammu and Kashmir. And now, once again, when Pakistan was virtually on its knees, we've agreed to a ceasefire.
You're right. It underlines India's long political tradition of snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. Snatching defeat from the jaws of victory has become a recurring pattern, which is why India continues to repeat history. We never learn from history, so history repeats itself. 1948, 1954, 1960, 1966, Haji Pir being returned, then becomes the launch pad later for Pakistan to infiltrate terrorists into India. Similar, 1972, we give away our war gains at the negotiating table without securing anything in return from Pakistan. 2021, we vacate the strategic Kailash Heights, forfeiting our only bargaining chip in negotiations, and then we agree to Chinese-designed buffer zones in Ladakh areas. And now, Operation Sindur. Operation Sindur had such powerful symbolism of India's women avenging the murder of 26 husbands. And yet, today, the way we ended this operation after the Pakistanis even fired a missile at Delhi leaves many questions unanswered. I can tell you one thing, Gaurav. History will not look at India too kindly over what it has done today.
My understanding and in my limited understanding is India, we showed our military might. Pakistan now knows about our strategic weaknesses and advantages and our strengths. It knows the weaknesses in its air defense system. The moment it gets this $2.1 billion tranche from the World Bank or from the IMF, when it gets more money, the first thing it will do will invest in better air defense system. We may not be lucky next time. 2 years down the line, it will train more terrorists, probably shift them a little deeper and bleed us once again.
We had so many advantages this time. The geopolitical environment was in our favor. The Americans did not criticize India for its military strikes. Unlike in 2016, unlike in 2019, when the US criticized India for initiating strikes across the border. In fact, the US gave us carte blanche. Go ahead, as long as you do not do things that leads to a full-fledged war. So we had an open field. We decimated, as you point out, we decimated their air defense systems, their radar systems. We could have devastated the Pak military. We could have humiliated them, which is what our objective should have been.
Absolutely.
Humiliating the Pak military that has oppressed the Pakistanis for decades. A humiliated Pak military would have faced the wrath of the Pakistani people. It would have been our salvation. And today we allowed the Pak military to save face.
Or maybe, and I just want to understand this from you, have we punished them enough because we've exposed them? They're humiliated in front of their awam. They know their strategic weaknesses and they know they can do nothing about it because of what is going to happen in Balochistan, what can happen in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, and there will be freedom struggles across Pakistan because they know this oppressive Pakistani Punjabi army was only oppressing them, enriching itself, and when push comes to shove, they're not even able to protect their country, not even Pakistan's Punjab. So that army is humiliated. Now, if we had pushed them a little more, they could have done something, one, either stupid, or they could have, that dirty N-word, perhaps give the next small bomb to Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed, and they would have said, just say whatever you want to say and just blast it somewhere. So we've kind of saved the day and, we're still moving forward.
Well, clearly, in the battle of rival political wills, we have proved weaker, Gaurav. We have proved weaker. That's the reason why, for 4 decades, Pakistan has waged this proxy warfare against the larger, stronger India. They have made up for the power asymmetry with India with stronger political will. They've always looked at India as a weak-willed country. This Operation Sindur will reinforce the impression that India is weak-willed. After just 3 days of Operation Sindur, we terminated. After just 3 days. 3 days. We expected in 3 days we would be able to teach Pakistan a lesson. Is that militarily possible? When we began this operation, we must have had some clear objectives that we will be able to endure both risks and costs. After all, even though we had the upper hand, they did inflict costs on us. Yes. They did cause damage. We lost some personnel. We lost some civilians. So we did suffer. So they will turn around.
16 losses of lives. Some of our military stations, as the government seemed to indicate, were in the line of fire. But what I also want to understand from you, we are on an economic growth trajectory, and had we pursued this battle, could we have been sucked into a battle where our economic growth may have been adversely impacted? This is a situation. One, we've decimated the enemy. There is realization. Pakistan also knows it's been absolutely had in this conflict. If they've lost their air bases all the way from Skardu through all of Pakistan's Punjab province, the army has no face. I mean, Asim Munir cannot stand up and face either his core commanders or even his nation. Not even that Pakistani Punjab would look up to him anymore. Now we can concentrate on our economy and we can continue to punish them should they misbehave.
Gaurav, you raise a very good question. First, the Pak military generals are not going to reveal their losses. They will cover up the damage and the losses they have suffered. They will present whatever they've done as victory against India. Let's be clear on that. They will not be admitting that they came out poorly from this engagement with India. Yeah. They will in fact feel emboldened by the fact that India could not continue with this operation for more than 3 days. As far as the economic aspect is concerned, you're right. Investor confidence takes a hit. India will suffer. But look at Mumbai, what happened in Mumbai.
Yes.
Massacre of 2008.
Yes.
That really dented international investor confidence. It did inflict invisible costs on India that lasted several years. Once you begin a military operation, you factor in the economic costs. But when you end an operation inconclusively, you will be paying economic costs for that too.
So classification of aim and maintenance of aim. Is your impression that while we had an aim, we did not maintain it, but the aim that the government had stated was to punish Pakistani terror, which they did when they bombed Muridke, when they bombed Bahawalpur, when they bombed Sialkot, when they bombed the terror launchpads and training camps in POJK. But this is the first time that proper Punjab, Pakistan proper Punjab has been targeted. It was never done before, and that's a huge loss of prestige for the Pakistan army. Not just the losses to the terrorist organizations, but bombs going off in Rawalpindi, the Noor Khan Air Base being destroyed. All the bases, predominantly, they're all in Pakistan's Punjab province.
You're absolutely right. Operation Sindur represented a paradigm shift in India's strategic posture toward Pakistan. But make no mistake, even if you destroy 9, forget about 9, you destroy 100 bases, terrorist bases in Pakistan. You kill 2,000 terrorists in Pakistan. It doesn't make any difference to the military generals. These terrorist proxies are expendable. They are cannon fodder for the military generals. Pakistan is the world's largest terror factory. They will churn out hundreds more. They don't care about the lives of these terrorist proxies. So what if India struck 9 sites on day 1 of Operation Sindur? They only care about themselves, about their lives, about their privileges, about their prerogatives, about their infrastructure. That's where we should have gone after. We should have gone after them, not the terrorists who are expendable. We unfortunately from day 1 began sending a wrong message. We began saying we're giving back in equal measure. It's proportionate. It's adequate. I'm using the words of the MEA briefing from yesterday. Proportionate, adequate, and responsible. Well, you have to inflict disproportionate costs on a country that has been invading you for 4 decades. You can't be, and you are reacting to them. You're saying that we are responding in the same domain, in the same manner as they are doing. So, we were letting them dictate. For example, we never used our naval power because Pakistan didn't use its naval power, so we didn't use their naval power. We were waiting for them to initiate naval hostilities. Then we would have used naval power. Why?
That's such an important point you make. And perhaps over the next several days, we will seek answers to this. And Professor Brahma Chellaney, it's always such a pleasure to listen to you, to listen to your thoughts. And this is something that perhaps we'll seek answers to even from the government in the days and weeks ahead. Professor Chellaney, for joining me here.